Hey everyone, it's Kathy and welcome back here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin', and here in my craft room. I'm glad to have you back. We are going to do something a little different today. I had a bit of a hectic weekend, and a lot of things were going on between church, having family in town. I'm trying to adjust my screen, so give me just a moment. I think that will do it. But anyway, I had told y'all last week on the live that I was going to concentrate this week on doing something outside of the mini catalog, something that wasn't Christmas. So I went back into my annual catalog, and I really had not had time to plan anything specific. So I thought, I'm going to do a birthday card using the Bright and Beautiful collection. And this is such a pretty collection. The stamp, the dies, the papers, and you also have that specialty paper that is the let's see, it's called Gold Celebration. So you have that, and you can use it on one side as silver or on the other side as gold. I'm thinking I want to use the gold side today, and I thought what would be cute is to try to replicate this card right here. Now, disclaimer, I have not done a prototype on this, so I'll be bringing this to you live, uncensored and uncut. So we're going to see how I can replicate this card using the items that they suggested, or what I'm seeing here. So it looks like to me they use these two sheets of paper. You can see that looks like this paper, and that is from this collection. And it looks to me that they use the dies, and I have the dies right here. So there's my dies. And of course I have the stamp set, and it looks like the only thing they used there was the happy birthday. And it looks like Bubble Bath and Azure Afternoon and Lemon Lolly. So I'm going to grab those. This right here, I think they might have cut that out of that particular color paper. So I'm going to get a scrap of that. So there's me a scrap of that. And I'm going to get my Lemon Lolly. There's my ink pad. And let's see, what else do we need? We need that celebration paper. So let me grab that pack of paper, because it is a beautiful pack. And I don't think I have used any of it yet. So it'll be fun to try something new and different. So let me grab that out. And this is it right here. And it is the Gold Celebration. And you can see how gorgeous that is. So we're going to be using a piece of that. And I think I want to use, let's look at the different pieces that's in this pack. And then we'll decide. Sorry about that noise. Anytime you open a pack of paper, it seems like it's always so loud. I want to look at all of the different pieces to see exactly which one I want to use. Okay, so you get one that has the little swirlies on it, and that looks like what they used. Yeah, it was this piece. So we're going to use this as well. So that was easy to figure out. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these back into my pack, or into my sleeve, and we're going to just cut a small piece off of that. And I'm very stingy, y'all know this, with my specialty paper. And it looks like what we're going to need to do here is actually punch the balloons, or it looks like maybe the balloons were punched out of this. It's hard to tell exactly how that is, but you know what? I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to actually punch my balloons, or die cut my balloons out of this. And then I am going to encapsulate those in to make those little shakers. And we're going to see how that all pans out for me. Sometimes it's fun just to kind of come on, turn the camera on, and just kind of record and see what happens. Okay, the first thing I want to do is, I think I want to leave my catalog right here where I can see it. That will help me tremendously. So I'm laying it right up on my laptop. I'm going to move some stuff out of my way over here where I can get to my die cut machine. And I think the first thing I want to do is go ahead and cut that larger balloon, and it looks like it was this one here. I think it was that one. So we're going to cut that, and that looks like that will work because it's got to be big enough to stamp our happy birthday in the middle, and I think this is the one. Yep, it would definitely have to be this one for that to fit. So that tells me that's correct. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my my die cut machine, and I'm going to use my electronic machine because, again, it's right here beside me. It makes it really easy just to pop this on and cut this out. Something like that, and we need to stamp the small pink one and the yellow one, and we're going to stamp that on some white cardstock. So I'm going to grab just a piece of basic white, and this is the thick, so we're going to stamp those and then we'll cut those out. But let me get my little balloon. And we're going to stamp one in Lemon Lolly and one in Bubble Bath. So I do need my Bubble Bath. So we have our Lemon Lolly, and now we have Bubble Bath. Beautiful, beautiful colors for anything that you wanted to make. Such a pretty color. All right, let's grab this one. We're going to do this one first, and we're going to do it in the pink, the Bubble Bath. And I'm going to stamp that one right there. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to get a little bit of cleaner and put it right here on my little cleaning cloth. And I'll clean this off since I'm going to be using it again. So let's close up this ink pad, and then we'll pull out our Lemon Lolly, and we'll stamp it one more time, and then we'll go ahead and get these ready to die cut, which will make it really super simple and very easy. So I'm going to dry that off and then get into that Lemon Lolly. And I thought it would be great if we get all of this done first, and then we can do our die cutting, although I've already cut one piece. The other thing I want to do is I want to cut a piece of this designer series paper, the specialty paper, and we are going to cut it let's see, we need our largest die to fit on here. So we need at least, at the very least, we are going to need about 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to put this in my trimmer and cut a 2.5 inch strip off of one end of it. So that'll be a super simple and easy way to do this. So about 2.5 inches, it's right about there. And we'll just slice that up, and that's acetate, so you'll see that it cuts very, very easily. So we're going to need our large die, and then we're going to need this little round die. So for that, we're going to need about 5 inches. Yep, about 5 inches. So I'm going to slice that at 5. And this will give us our pieces for this. And see how it looks silver on this side and gold on that side? So I think that's real neat that you can get, even though they call it gold, we can turn it over and get that silver side as well. All right, the next thing I need is I need a card base. So I think for this one, I want it to fold up. So I'm going to cut this in half on the 11-inch side at 5.5. So I'm going to slide my cardstock in This is my 11-inch side, so I'm going to bring it to 5.5, and that'll give me my halfway point up the middle. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. So get that cut blade out of your way. Your lighter gray one is your score tool. So I'm going to score that at 4 1/4, and give that a good fold. And then we're going to burnish it with our bone folder. So let me grab my bone folder over here, and we are going to fold that down something like that. Give it a nice crease. Okay, so now we have, and this is going to actually open like this. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and cut my 2 balloons out. So in order to not get this paper messed up as it goes through the die cut machine, I'm going to cut this off right about there, and then cut it in half right about there. And then I'll lay that over there as a nice little scrap. And let's bring our die cut our plates back over, and we can actually cut more than one thing at one time. So let's go ahead and put this on here. Now anytime I'm die cutting a piece that's already been stamped, even though this particular plate is magnetic, I still like to anchor it, because sometimes the magnet will cause the die to shimmy and shift a little bit. So that one is going to be right there, and then this one we can probably get away with without anchoring it. I think we can. I think those will be fine just like that. I don't know, it's wanting to move too, so maybe we'll just put one of our little post-it flags over top of this and make sure that we're getting everything cut just like we want it. Alright, so I'm going to lay my cover plate over top, and I'm going to run this through. We're hearing some cracking, that's normal. And we're going to take that off. We were cutting into acetate, so I think that had a lot to do with how much it cracked. But there's one of our balloons, and this is our other one, and then we got the big one, and we got our other little pink one that we're gonna need to die cut. So let's take that one off of there, and then I'm going to lay this one down over top of my balloon. And sometimes it's nice just to go to your catalog, and especially if you can't come up with something that you're trying to create, your mind is kind of full and you got a lot on your plate, this is the best time in the world to go to your catalog and let it be your inspiration. There's no shame in that. At least it's not for me, because I get a lot of inspiration out of this catalog. So I'm going to lay this down over top, and I'm going to go ahead and run this one through. Alright, so we've got that completely cut. So now we've got our our pink balloon and our yellow balloon, the smaller ones. And I'm going to make sure I get my dies back where I know where they're at. And let's go ahead and move this back over here out of our way. And now I want to go ahead and stamp my happy birthday right there. And from the picture, it looks like they did that and they heat set it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to heat set it using our white embossing powder. So I'm going to grab my powder tool, my little embossing buddy, and I'm just going to rub this across my balloon. This is an anti-static tool. And this actually comes in the essential kit that gives you a tray, the embossing buddy, a set of reverse tweezers, and also a little brush. that is great for all of your heat embossing. So I'm going to lay that on there, and I'm going to use some Versamark ink. This is a clear water-based ink. Not water-based, I'm sorry. It's a Watermark ink. I'll get that right in a minute. And we are going to pick this up on a stamp block. And then I'm going to ink this up. I love to heat emboss. I think it's so pretty. It adds a lot to your card. So I'm going to stamp happy birthday right about there, and I'm just going to give that a good press because I really want that ink to transfer to that blue. And I'm going to pull that off. That looks like a nice image. You can actually see it in the camera, which is a very good indication that we got that very well done. So I'm going to take some white embossing powder. And I keep my embossing powders in a little container like this because I do a lot of embossing and things like that. So it pays me to have mine in a little container. It just makes it much easier. But if you don't, and you just got the small package of embossing powder, just take your piece of copy paper and lay it on your desk and sprinkle it over, tap it off, and then pour that back into your container. Alright, I think that looks really good. So we're going to heat set that next. Let me kind of rake this back into my container. You don't want to waste your embossing powder, and a little bit goes a long ways because it only picks up where that ink has been stamped. It sticks to that ink because it's a sticky ink, and it just makes it perfect for doing your heat embossing. Alright, so I'm going to grab my heat gun and I'm going to turn it on and let it heat up maybe for about 20-30 seconds, so bear with me, it's going to be a little bit loud. And I like to come in from the back and heat it from the back, and this also helps with the warping. It will start to warp in that direction, so when you turn it over and start to melt that embossing powder, the warping will actually go back in the other direction. And you can already start to see it changing color. And it'll go from that very matte finish to a beautiful shiny finish, and that's when you know you have got it completely set and it is ready to go. It doesn't take long at all to do your heat embossing, and it's always so pretty. Alright, so that piece is done. So now we need to look at our card base. We need to cut this piece of paper. And I'm going to make it probably right about, we know this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I think I'm going to cut this to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that'll give me just that tiny little bit of border around the edges. So I'm going to move my balloons over here and bring this trimmer back up, and I'm going to go 4 1/8 in this direction, and then I'm going to turn it in this direction, and we're going to do 5 3/8. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So that's 3/8. And I'll hang on to those little pieces because you never know when you can use those on something different. So I'm going to bring over my piece now, and I can put this down, and you can see that that's going to give me just the tiniest little bit of a border around my edge, and I love that. The other thing that I want to do is I want a piece of the Moody Mauve to go behind. Make sure that's all set. Yeah, that looks really good. A piece of the Moody Mauve to go behind this. So I'm going to grab some scraps, and I've always got scraps down here, and I go to my scrap bin first. And I've always got some little pieces of scraps like that. So what I want to do is I want to cut a backer for this piece as well as this one. So we used those dies a while ago, this one and this one. So we're just going to put these back down on here and do that again. So I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to sit it down like that. And I'm scattering my plate just a little bit. That's always a good rule of thumb. And if you're interested in this particular set, the suite is on page 14 in the annual catalog, and everything else is over on page 15. So if you open your catalog up to the full spread, it is actually 14 and 15, and you can see all the products that go with this. The dies, the designer series paper, the stamp set, and the specialty paper. And like I said, I think it's just absolutely a beautiful set to have. We all have birthday cards to make because everyone has birthdays. So birthday cards seem to be one of our most, I guess, one of our most made cards. That's what I was trying to say. All right, so we got these, and what I want to do is I want to frame this behind it so that it looks like that. So when we put that on the card, it will look like it's a part of the actual part of the card. So the other piece of designer series paper, we're going to do something a little bit special with that as well. We are going to cut this piece using the bouquet. This is considered a bouquet. It's sort of I did some background paper where I did the bouquet, and most people think it's buca, but it's actually bouquet, the correct pronunciation. So what I want to do is I want to cut this piece the size I need it to go here, and I want it to go to the top of this, so I need it to be 4 1/8, but I only want it to go to like here and here. So I'm going to cut it first to the 4 1/8. So let's grab our trimmer again. And we'll go here to 4 1/8. And then we need to decide, I am thinking 3, how about 4 1/2. I think 4 1/2 would be good. So we'll go 4 1/2. And this should give us exactly what we're looking for this piece to fit on here, about like so. And like I said, I want this piece to be just like that. So now I need to decide where I want my balloons to go. And it's going to be these same dies that we used before. And we're going to cut out like maybe here and here out of this particular designer series paper. So that's going to give us our opening so we can make the little shaker part of our card. So I'm going to put this one maybe up to about there, and then I'm going to take the smaller one and I want it to be right about here. And so I'm going to run that through the die cut machine and cut those out, and then we will be ready, or almost ready, to go ahead and get this card together. So I'm going to run that through my die cut machine. Alright, and let's pull this off. Now we have our openings here for our balloons, which are so cute. And save those balloons because we could use these on another card. So I would not throw either one of these balloons away. I would save those for using on another card at some other point. They're very festive and they look like birthday balloons. And like I said, we all need to make birthday cards. So let's stick our dies over here. And now we have our paper together. So the next thing I want to do is I want to decide where I'm going to put my balloons. Okay, we know that this is going to go flat down on here, so let's go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. And somebody was asking me about this kind of sliding around on my desk. It really has a bit of a felt tip, I guess like a felt bottom on it. It doesn't slide around a lot. You can see it's pretty, but if you find that it is sliding on you, if you get one of these and it's sliding, and you have the silicone craft sheets that we use so often, I was telling my subscriber that maybe you would put it on that. It will not move on that. That is a great way to make sure it stays stationary and doesn't move around on you. So what I want to do now is I'm going to use my glue. You will have to pop off the little piece of glue. Can you see that? It gets like a little cover over it, and it pops right off, and when that comes off, your glue is ready to use. Somebody else asked me, was it difficult to get used to using it? I haven't had any difficulty with it at all. I find it much easier to squeeze than the bottle, and it's always ready for me to stick back into this when I'm done, and I don't have to worry about chasing a cap down or a pen. So I love it for that reason. So I'm going to bring that over to about there. And I got it crooked. Let's try it up here. And down like that. That looks good. So now we're going to bring this over. And this piece needs to be popped up because we want this to go under. So what I want to do is I want to let me rethink this for a moment. Let's see. Maybe I'm just going to put them down directly. I think that's festive enough that we could probably do that, and they would just fit in there like that. And maybe we could pop this up just a bit. Alright, let's try that. I'm going to use some of our adhesive strips on this. And let's see, I think I have a pack that is already open. I think I do. These are our foam adhesive strips, and they give you just a tiny bit of dimensional. They're very thin, like 1/4 of an inch, and they work great for doing around the edges of something like this that's very thin. And you just want this to go like that. And then like this. I'm going to pull one more off because I want to make sure I get it all the way around. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go across this way. And then trim that off. And then we're going to come down the side. Let's go this way. Like said, and then we can clip that, and I think that'll be just enough to go into this little spot here, maybe with just a little bit of a hangover. We'll clip that off so that everything meets up perfectly like that. All right, so now when we put this down on here, this is actually going to be sitting up, and we can put our festive balloons underneath. But I think what I want is I want these to pop up too. So I need to figure out a way to camouflage the adhesive. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a glue dot. That is great for putting your acetate down, and where you want to strategically stick it is wherever you know you're going to have something coming down over it. Like here, I know this happy birthday balloon is going to go right here, so at the top of that balloon, this one, I can put a glue dot. So right about there. And then we can stick that on here. Something like that. And then on the back of this, I want to put a dimensional. So I'm going to use our regular size dimensionals. And I'm going to put one in the middle. And then this is going to pop in to here. So what I want to do is I want to take the backer off of these first, and then we're going to put this down, and then we'll come back and we'll pop our balloons in. I think this card's going to be so beautiful. I really have been wanting to make this one, and I thought today would be the perfect time to do so, since I was running out of time. And the reason I was so pushed with time was I had some computer issues today. When I got up, I didn't have internet on my computer, and I was panic stricken. Oh, that's cute like that. I love it. And we're going to do the same thing with this one, only this one we're going to put the glue dot right here on the side, because that little yellow balloon is going to be poking out right there. So right here on the side, right about there, I'm going to put a glue dot, and then I'm going to put this on top of it. I'm just going to make sure everything lines up like so. And then this can go in right here with a couple dimensionals on it. It's a bigger balloon, so I think we're going to need a little bit more dimension. Let's put one there and one there. And let's do one on each side. I might rethink this one too and maybe put another one on it. Like that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and stick these balloons in. Didn't quite get it in there like I wanted it, so if you don't push down too hard, you can lift those back up. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to pull these off. And lay this one down in here, just like that. Now we still need to put our other balloons on. So this one here is going to go right about here. So that's going to cover that piece right there. So I'm going to put glue just on this side. I don't want it to hit on the acetate. I want it to be on the other side of the acetate, but cover that glue dot. So that one's going there. The other one is going to go right here over top of the glue dot there, so we don't see it. So I'm going to put glue on the top of this one, and then glue that down right there. And then we have our big balloon. Oh, you know what? I did that one wrong. Oh, no. This one goes up here. This one needs to go right here. Okay, good. Now, this one needs to go right here. So we're going to put glue on the back of this one. And then this one is going to go just like this. And there is that beautiful birthday card. Do you love it? I love the way it turned out. I think it's gorgeous like this. And I love the fact we've got all that glimmer and everything on it. So what I want to do now is I'm going to grab a piece of the Azure Afternoon. And we're going to put inside, and then we're going to do a white piece over top of it. So I'm going to bring my trimmer up again, and I'm going to trim this out at 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to grab a piece of white. And this piece needs to be 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to grab my trimmer again, and I'm going to cut it off at 5 this way, and at 3 3/4 this way. And don't worry about the measurements. I will have a PDF tutorial on my blog that you can actually click on and print out, and that way you can have all the measurements and everything that I use to make this card, and it'll make it really easy for you to make the same card. So looking at my stamp set, I am going to put, I think it's time for a celebration. So we're going to do that on the inside. And I think I'm going to do it in that blue ink because I love that blue and it seems like it's carrying the theme. So this is the Azure Afternoon. Such a pretty shade of blue. So I'm going to center that about there, kind of to the top. Maybe we'll do that and we'll put another happy birthday under it. No, maybe I'll just do it like this. I think this will be enough. We already have happy birthday on the front, so I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to pick this up with another stamp block, and then I'm going to ink it. I'm going to stamp it on a piece of scrap cardstock just to make sure. Oh, that looks really pretty. I'm going to ink it again, and right about here. Very nice. And then the other thing I want to grab is we've got some streamers. So I think I'm going to do some streamers coming down like this. And maybe we'll just go ahead and do those in blue as well. Oh, those look cute. Let's do one more right here. And maybe one more right here. I like that. That looks really, really pretty. So now we're ready to glue that onto that piece and then glue the whole thing into our card, and we'll be done. And what a cute card this turned out to be. So like I said, do not look at your catalog and look at the pictures that's in your catalog and draw some inspiration from those. I probably made mine a little bit different. I just kind of looked at the picture and kind of went with it. You could change up your colors however you would like it. Make it yours. But I think it makes for a really great way to access your catalog and get the most out of it. So I'm going to put glue on the back of this piece now. And then open our card and lay this inside about like that. And we have a very beautiful happy birthday card that looks very festive and beautiful. Now let's look into our sequins, and I think we could probably pull in some of these. These are the pastel adhesive back sequins, and I think they'll be beautiful with this card. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick, And I'm going to pull off a couple of the pink ones. Like that. And let's grab a couple of the blue ones. Like that. And isn't that beautiful? I love the way this turned out. I think it's just about as cute as it can be. And if you wanted to, you could go even a step further. And I believe there is a... no, there wasn't a die for that. I was thinking there was a die for the streamers, but it's not. You got this little piece that you could put on the balloons. But I think the balloons are fine like they are. If you wanted to, you could draw a little line. But I think they're beautiful just the way they are. And if I had thought ahead, I might have stamped the little streamer like we did on the inside. But this is a really, really cute card. I hope that you enjoyed the tutorial. Let me know what you think, and if this is a set that you think you would like to have. And just, I mean, why not get the whole thing? The stamps and the dies and both of the papers, they're beautiful. And throw in a couple of ink pads and look at what we made. God bless and keep you, and thank you so much for tuning in once again. I always appreciate your feedback, so please give me a thumbs up on this video if you like what you saw. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think. I appreciate you guys so much, and thanks again for tuning in. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Savior Jesus. He is worthy. So until we craft again, God bless and keep you, and bye-bye.